Good morning, Chair Bollendroff, members Garrett, Holmes, staff, and guests. The lobbies are open and the recording has begun.
Thank you, Gretchen. Good morning, everyone. Now I'll kick off the board caucus meeting for Tuesday, August 4th, 2026. We have our first agenda item, the Cannabis Compact review by Dr. Marla Conwell. But before we do that, I want to make a couple of quick announcements. Before we begin the meeting, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the devastating wildfires that are affecting Eastern Washington, particularly those in the Spokane area. Our thoughts are with everyone who's been impacted by those fires and who have been forced to evacuate, those who've suffered losses, and importantly, our first responders and emergency personnel working tirelessly to protect lives and communities. We also want to recognize our own Liquor and Cannabis Board employees who are in the Spokane office who may also be affected. Please know that you and your families are in our thoughts today. Finally, I want to extend our support to our many licensees in the region who may be facing uncertainty, potentially business disruptions, or personal hardship as a result of the fires. On behalf of the board, we're grateful for the resilience being shown across Eastern Washington, and we hope for the continued safety for everyone in the path of those devastating fires. So on a little lighter note here, I also want to take a moment to acknowledge one of our board members. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge 10 years service for board member Ollie Garrett today. So board member Garrett, I just take a moment to acknowledge your participation and how grateful I am to be able to serve with you on this board, and just really appreciate your commitment to the social equity program, and your business background, and the many contributions that you make to the Liquor and Cannabis Board. So thank you very much. All right. Moving right along, we'll jump right into our first agenda item. And again, this is a presentation by Dr. Marla Conwell, who is our Tribal and Government Liaison. And Dr. Conwell today is here to present us a Cannabis Compact review for the Quileute tribe. So Dr. Conwell, I'll turn it over to you.
Good morning, Chair Bollendroff and board members Garrett and Holmes. I'm happy to present the Cannabis Compact for the Quileute tribe. We've been in negotiations for a little over 3 years now, and we've finally reached a conclusion. This compact is similar to all of the other compacts that we have, with one difference, and that is that in the dispute resolution piece, the tribe has asked that we not have the arbitration part included, but simply have mediation, and if mediation fails, then the parties would agree to terminate the compact. They didn't express why they felt that that was what they wanted, but that does not provide anything unusual or harmful to the agency. So do you have any questions about it?
No questions. Seeing no questions, I don't think there's anything.
Okay, the compact has been reviewed, or is under review with the governor's office, and they didn't find anything with their first pass. So it seems like it will go forward.
Great. Can you just remind us of the time frame then, or anticipated timeline before when it'll be in front of the board for review, for final review?
It was sent to the board for final review, so it should be ready to be voted on tomorrow.
Okay, great. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right, well, moving right along, we'll go to policy and rules team updates and board meeting prep. And so first up, we have Kevin, who will give us our general updates. Kevin?
All right. Good morning, Chair Bollendroff and board members Garrett and Holmes. After last month's adoption of multiple rules implementing legislation from the 2026 session, the rules team is down to 10 open rules projects at various stages of development. Starting with cannabis rulemaking, last Friday we posted updated draft rules implementing engrossed substitute Senate Bill 5403, limiting financial interest agreements for cannabis retailers, and we'll give folks until the end of the month to provide comments. We've advised stakeholders that no additional feedback sessions are planned, and in the interest of efficiency, we're encouraging associations and businesses that are interested in commenting to coordinate among their members and employees, and consider sending a single letter with signatories rather than having each individual member send us the same or similar messages. To be clear, we welcome any feedback, and we will absolutely give full consideration to comments from individuals, just as we would for larger groups. But the volume of duplicate comments that we received during the last round proved to be a bit unwieldy, so we're hoping that folks will be able to help us streamline that process just a little bit. Following the comment period, we plan to finalize the draft rules, incorporating any feedback deemed warranted. And then we'll move forward with the CR 102 proposal phase, which will require us to do a small business economic impact analysis that we reasonably expect to take 2 to 3 months. In other cannabis rulemaking news, our project team is meeting this week to finalize draft rules to implement Engrossed House Bill 1941, which allows for agricultural cannabis cooperatives. Stakeholder feedback session dates have just been set for Tuesday, August 26th at 1 p.m. and Friday, August 28th at 10 p.m. And we'll be sending out an announcement and posting meeting details on the LCB rules webpage shortly. This should put us comfortably in position to seek board approval of the CR 102 filing package in October, with adoption of final rules by November or December. With the expected completion of at least a couple of our current rulemaking projects as we round out summer and head into the fall, we should have some staff capacity freed up that will allow us to resume the cannabis R&D testing and samples rulemaking, which began almost a year ago but has been on the back burner for a while now due to other priorities, and the cannabis batch tracking rulemaking, which is our oldest rulemaking project still in the CR 101 phase, stemming from a petition accepted in October of 2023. Beyond that, we still got 4 more cannabis rulemaking projects that the board agreed to take on in response to public petitions in 2023 and 2024. These include heavy metals testing, harvest dates on labels, certificate of analysis expiration, and cannabis transportation. We'll be looking at how best to fold these in as we approach the end of the year in hopes of making significant headway in early 2027. Keeping in mind, however, that next year's legislative session could very well result in other priorities being pushed to the front of the line yet again. Then lastly, with regard to cannabis rules, since our last board meeting, we have received 9 cannabis-related rulemaking petitions, which is quite a lot in a short time frame. However, several of these appear to be substantially similar. We plan to present our recommendation on these petitions at next month's board meeting. Moving on to alcohol rules, our contractor conducting the economic analyses on the retail alcohol product placement rulemaking has completed the cost-benefit analysis and is currently finalizing the small business economic impact analysis. Barring any unforeseen issues, we could be in position to file the CR 102 rule proposal as early as September, and certainly by October at the latest, with the adoption of final rules by the end of the year.
Great.
And finally, we'll be holding a hybrid public hearing on August 12th at 10 a.m. to take public testimony on proposed rules implementing Second Substitute House Bill 1701 regarding leasing liquor premises. Provided no changes are necessary to the proposed rules in response to public comment, we'll move to file the CR 103 at next month's board meeting in September. So that should do it for now, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you all may have.
Thank you, Kevin. Any questions? Seeing no questions, I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one that sometimes stumbles over a few words here, Kevin, so thank you. All right, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will now have Daniel Jacobs, Policy and Rules Coordinator, come on. Daniel's going to provide some comments regarding a petition on outdoor canopy shared during the July 1st board meeting. So Daniel, I'll turn it over to you.
Good morning, Chair Bollendroff, members Garrett and Holmes. I'm here this morning to clarify some statements that I made during my presentation during last month's board meeting when the director's office recommended denying the petition from Eagle Trees Farm to expand canopy for Tier 2 outdoor producers. During that presentation, I stated that our licensing division does not currently track which producers use indoor growing versus which ones use outdoor growing. And this isn't true. That wasn't correct. Whether a producer uses indoor or outdoor growing methods is captured in interview notes that licensing staff does with the producer, as well as in their operating plans, site plans, and on the final report. So in fact, there are multiple documents where it is captured whether a producer uses indoor or outdoor methods. But what is true is that we currently don't have a way to easily extract just that piece of information such that we aren't able to generate a report that lists how many of our producers total are indoor versus outdoor. This information was captured prior to the implementation of LEADS. So while we do have an old report that reflects this, that information's outdated and currently not captured in LEADS. And this is how I got that information wrong, because in preparing to analyze the petition, I asked licensing staff whether they could provide me an estimate or ballpark of numbers on how many producers use indoor growing versus how many use outdoor growing. And they told me correctly that they couldn't just provide me that information in a simple way. And because I asked them, hey, is there a way you can just provide me the numbers? They were like, no, we can't. From that, I inferred that, oh, okay, you guys don't track that information. And just, full disclosure, I didn't follow up that email to clarify, hey, is it because you guys don't have this information or because you guys can't extract it in an easily readable report? Because frankly, that wasn't super crucial for the analysis of my petition response. But I just want to make clear, because afterwards I was contacted by licensing staff when they watched my presentation, and they were like, hey, so you said that we don't like have information on who uses indoor and who uses outdoor. That's not strictly true. And so I just wanted to provide that clarification here. I think you all know me, and I always strive to obtain and provide accurate information. So I made a logical inference here that wasn't warranted, and so I just want to apologize for that. I don't think that it should change the analysis or recommendation of the petition response itself, but I wanted to be fully transparent, and I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any.
All right, thank you, Daniel. I appreciate you coming today and providing that update to the board. I will say that during that meeting, I was surprised that we didn't have that. And so I have had subsequent conversations with staff within the LCB, and happy to just get to the point where we can really understand what our capacity is and what our limitations are. For me personally, this doesn't change my vote on the outdoor canopy petition that was before us, but I do want to make sure and open it up to other board members for either questions, comments, or does this change anything about your position on that particular petition? Okay, I see board member Garrett shaking her head no. Board member Holmes, you're raising your hand, so I'll ask you to go ahead.
I just wondered what resources or time frame would it take to update the old report differentiating between indoor and outdoor to what the current status is now. But like you, Chair Volendroff, I don't think this information changes my outlook on the vote here.
Okay.
I don't have an answer for that. That would be something that I would need to talk to licensing or probably IT and the LEADS folks, or probably some combination of those two. But in the rule shop, we don't even have access to LEADS, so I couldn't look at LEADS even if I wanted to. I'm not sure. I can inquire and follow up and provide you an answer, but I would just be contacting IT and licensing.
All right, Daniel, we'll let you follow up with board member Holmes about that. But again, I'm seeing both board members saying this does not change anything about their petition, their position on the petition. All right, thank you very much. All right, that concludes our policy and rules team updates. And so now we've got board member and executive assistant reports. So let me start with the board. Anything from the board today? Okay, seeing nothing. Gretchen, Deb, any executive assistant reports?
Nothing today, Chair. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. And that concludes our agenda. So I'll now adjourn the board caucus meeting for Tuesday, August 4th. Bye, everybody.